Hi everyone! I am very interested in discussing these really hard topics in our world as far as veterinary technicians go. There are a lot of serious things going on right now. There are a lot of people that are struggling right now in the vet tech world. And it's not a secret, but I think that it is something that is not really being talked about. I mean, it is in a sense, but solutions aren't being brought up for it, right? You go on and you look at all this, you look at all of the Facebook groups where there's people talking about how sad they are, about how they're struggling in the vet med community, all the way from they're struggling with having to deal with certain cases because clients aren't able to pay fully for some cases and they're having to be turned away, which can be really, really hard on our field, as opposed to like human medicine where they can just do everything that they're supposed to do and not have to worry about the financial aspect. That's really trying on our mental health, the fact that we can't just do our job, right? We have to automatically go into like, okay, so how are we going to figure out finances for this? How are we going to make sure that we get paid for this? We can't just go straight into focusing on saving the life, which really just kind of skews a lot of things for us mentally. But all the way also to the fact of just, there's a lot of really toxic clinics out there as well. Like literally bullying in the clinic aspect. Veterinarians on veterinarians, vet techs on vet techs, vet techs on vet assistants on licensed vet techs, emergency doctors versus GP doctors, vice versa, all of those things. So I think that these are really important topics that need to be discussed, but more than just being discussed, they need to be, we need to figure out solutions because things are bad in the vet community. Also just the fact of when you look at these groups, a lot of people are posting anonymously. Why are they posting anonymously? Like, is it because they're ashamed? Are they embarrassed that they're struggling? Because they're definitely not the only ones that are struggling. Obviously, we're seeing it all over in these groups. People who are trying to figure out different options, who are literally clutching out and they're begging for any reason to stay in the field, right? They're reaching out to other people and they're just like, please, I don't want to leave this field. I want to stay. What can I do? I don't know if I can do this anymore. But I think it's really telling when you have all of these people who are posting all of these things and are talking about all these things, but they're staying anonymous. Like, that sucks. Like, that's kind of a big deal because it's saying that they're targeting themselves as weak, or maybe they feel ashamed. Maybe they don't. Like, maybe there's something else that's different out there. But the fact that we feel like we cannot even tell 100% the truth because we're afraid of what our coworkers are going to think of us or anything like that. It's just really telling and it's really sad. And so I really just wanted to start something where we really get down to the nitty-gritty of these really hard topics in vet med. Because I think even though we know that these are really hard topics, we do sugarcoat them. And I don't know if it's because we are in denial of it or if it's because we're in a way ashamed of it. But we really, really need to start delving deep into these really serious topics, because if things don't change, vet med is not going to get any better. I mean, in general, I feel like we were really at a uphill when we were starting to really take serious of licensing for veterinary technicians, and states taking that seriously and actually respecting the title. And pay. I mean, pay is a really big part of it too, right? Like, how many of us are struggling when we're working like 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet, just so that we can pay our bills? Like, who wants to live that way? Nobody wants to live that way. And our love of animals can only get us so far, because a lot of it is, you have your pros and your cons, and your love of animals is not enough sometimes, because it gets tiring. You get burnt out. You start to, get, lack of empathy. I know there's a word for it, but I can't think of it right now. But when there's so many other fields out there that pay better with a lot less on your mental health, other things start to look better. So I think that I just want to start having these conversations and really start delving deep at the end of the day. It was really, really tough for me, because I first went into GP, then I went into emergency, and I loved it. GP absolutely was not for me. I've tried it too many times, but I love emergency. But that was really, really hard, because the first emergency clinic I ever worked at, I was literally doing all of it. I was answering the phones, I was triaging, I was taking care of the pets, and I was the one going over the estimates, and I was the one having to, figure out finances. I couldn't just be back there focusing on my patient, and that was so hard, and then I was the face that the client saw, having to say, like, hey, like, I'm willing to take care of your pet, but at the same time, like, we need to figure out finances to make sure that we get compensated for the services that we provide. And then you just go down a whole nother hill, or tunnel, I guess. I did it for a really long time, and vet med was everything to me. It was all I ever did. I didn't do anything else. I literally worked, and then on my days off, I slept. And I tried to just purge everything that I had to deal with, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of it. And I really just didn't do anything else. I mean, every now and then, I think that we would do, in my personal life, we would do something, but I never really made time for me. I think the only thing I did was go to the gym, and I lifted weights, and that honestly saved me, getting that exercise in and having something else to focus on, and even to just like get all of that other, I don't even know what to call it, but out, energy, I guess, that different energy out. But I think that vet med changed for me when I had kind of like a life crisis, and I realized that it couldn't be all about work. And I never had boundaries. I never said no. I always said yes, because I also always thought, like, oh, it'll get me somewhere. Like, it'll get me maybe a promotion. It'll get me, to something better than what I have now, and then maybe I'll get paid more and all of those things. But you kind of just go down a rabbit hole where you literally don't choose yourself anymore, and you literally feel like you're making all these sacrifices, but it's not really getting you anywhere, and you really don't feel any better. So I had to take a step back from vet med and realize that it wasn't everything, and that I really needed to delve into other things, other relationships, friendships. I'd always wanted to travel, but I never made the time for it, because I was like, well, I need to work, and I can't let my team down. I can't be gone, because we're always short-staffed. And if I were to leave and I were to go on vacation, I wouldn't even enjoy it very much. But at the end of the day, like, you have to take care of you. You have to have that self-care. And I think that thinking about others is a very good quality and it is really important, but you cannot think about others so much that you stop thinking about yourself. Like, you just can't, or else you are going to be miserable and you are not going to survive this field. And I think it's really hard for us to do because people who are in the pet industry, we are so empathetic and we are very selfless. So you are going to have to train yourself. This is not going to be easy. You have to be disciplined. You have to start saying no. You know, like when you get asked to cover a shift specifically, if your first instinct is, I really don't want to work this shift because I'm exhausted and I'm tired and I've put in my time and I really need to rest, then you have to say no, no matter what, no matter how short-staffed they are, because if you are not rested and you are just doing it, then you're going to be the next victim. Things are not going to get better. They're not going to get better for you, and they're not going to get better for your patients, and they're not going to get better for the clinic that you're working for either. And everybody's just going to be miserable and bitter and angry. So I know that when I first started saying no to shifts and putting that boundary down, I had a lot of people that were not happy with me. They thought I was being selfish. But at the end of the day, when I would go back for my shift, I would feel refreshed. I would feel happy. And I would give it my all, and I would do, I wasn't bitter, I wasn't sad, I wasn't tired, I wasn't stressed, because I had given myself that time to rest. If you get asked to work a shift, and you're like, yeah, I probably could work this shift, I probably could handle it, and I'll feel fine at the end of the day, and I'll feel good about it, then do it. But if your first gut is, like, dreading it, being sad, being angry, being frustrated that you were even asked, felt like you've been put in a position where you couldn't say no, you need to say no. Like, that's just the fact. That's the discipline there. So, those are just really, really basic things that I wanted to start off with as far as this goes, but I do want this to turn into something deeper, and I want to delve in deeper with this. I want to really pick specific topics and really, really, really talk about the nitty-gritty. I want to talk about this with the vet community. I want them to help me figure out solutions. Like, I don't want to do this by myself. I want to build something here. The way I found my happiness in vet med is I decided I didn't want to be loyal to one clinic anymore because I was sick of the drama. I just wanted to go in and I wanted to work with my patients and focus on patient care and not be delved into drama, and to just do my job that I am really good at and that I love to do. And so I went into relief, and it was not easy for me as far as like taking that jump, but I started in October 2024 and now it is February 2025, and it's getting easier and easier, and I'm getting that work, and I've realized that this is something that I really want to do, and I really want to help other people figure out how are they going to stay in this field. So that is, I guess, my introduction. Hopefully we can delve deeper into this together, and if there's any other specific topics that you guys want to discuss, or even let me know what your thoughts are about this first little video clip, I would love that. All right, you guys, thanks. Bye.